And we are live. Thank you all for tuning in to the first episode of the Tao of Paul. You are very welcomed. These guests are very welcoming, and we're going to tell you who they are in a minute. But long story short, before we get to all this, to clarify, I, Darren Paltrowitz, am telling you the DLRcast is not over. We're taking a couple of weeks with all that, and Steve Roth will be on a future episode of the Tao of Paul. Just a little fun side project paying homage to Kiss. But let's talk about the two gentlemen to my right. Wait. I'm getting my left and my right. Well, one is next to me, one is below me. To my right, I think it might be your left, depending on how you're angling your phone, is Corey Morissette. Corey, does your shirt say Employee of the Year? Employee of the Month?
Dunder Mifflin, that's right.
Okay, congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Now, Corey, so many great things. I'm going to do your plugs, and then you're going to tell me what I got missing, okay?
Okay.
The Deep Dive podcast. Why did I screw up the name already? What is the full name of it, the official name?
Well, it's the Deep Dive Podcast Network. It's one of the podcast networks we're a part of. I currently produce and host 3 podcasts on there. A couple have wrapped up, and I got a couple in the wings. So that's one of the podcast networks I'm a part of. The other is the Boneless Podcasting Network, started by Chaz Charles, who you know from a season of Rock Court, where you were a witness, if I remember correctly.
That is all correct. And you were such a big supporter of my different projects, having me on and the podcast will rock, and having me on Rock Court, having me perjure myself as a testimony giving kind of person on that. And so I knew about the podcast life. Is there anything else we're plugging right now, Corey?
No, just and the podcast will rock is still plugging along. We're actually got plans to do another Van Halen season. We originally broke down every song in the catalog. When we finished that, we kind of went to our patrons and they kind of compiled a wheel for us. So that's what this season is. We have some Iron Maiden, AC/DC, Peter Gabriel, Heart, Boston, a lot of diverse music in there. Then we're planning for the next season to jump back into Van Halen. So that's still plugging along.
No more plugs. Your plugs are over.
Perfect.
Francis, one of my favorite drummers out there, currently gearing up for a run with Diamond David Lee Roth. You've been in that fold for about 6 years now, which is incredible. The upcoming dates around the U.S. So I believe that starts in April-ish. That's the rumor. You're going to correct me if I'm wrong, but we also see on the road with the Matthew Curry Band. We also see with Joanne Bird, who you have produced and co-written some of the works of, and Billy Walton Band. What am I missing from the equation here about what you do?
I think you got it all for now. There's some future stuff coming that I'm working on, some different artists too. It's actually a great English band called Fisher Zed from the 80s. You might remember their song called So Long. Been doing a little bit of recording with those guys, so that's going to be, developing and expanding throughout this year. And
great.
But other than that, Joanne Bird, Matthew Curry, we're actually putting the finishing touches on a Billy Walton record that'll be out in about 6 weeks. Joanne Bird's putting the finishing touches on a live record that we tracked in the Netherlands late last year, in October, November. But yeah, the main focus right now will be touring with David and, taking that ride again. Looking forward to it.
No more plugs for you. You're done. No more plugs. So here we are with the Tao of Paul. And before we get into the actual format of all that, big Kiss fan over here. Not everyone in the world's a big Kiss fan. Sometimes the songs that Paul Stanley sings, sometimes the lyrics that he writes in the songs that sing, sometimes it's good life advice. Sometimes it's bad life advice. And I wanted some experts to help me determine if the lyrics that I'm going to spring upon you as a surprise, because you did not prepare for these lyrics, good advice, bad advice. Before we get there, Francis, you had the distinction of opening for Kiss on the road for a little bit within the David Lee Roth Band. Rumor is you said that Paul was one of the most hospitable rock stars you've ever encountered. That is true?
I think he's the one. He's at the top of the mountain. He's the nicest guy to us, at least. And, again, making sure we were taken care of. We were comfortable out there. They were generous with the stage. That alone can be difficult for an opener, even though it was David. That's still like a pretty sensitive area. And he was great. all around. I have no negative thoughts or memories of Paul. Great guy.
Okay, that is awesome to hear. Now, before we get to Corey's Kiss tie-ins, I see that we have Johnny Be Good in the chat. Thank you for coming, Johnny Be Good. I see that we have JCM Les Paul. That I believe that is Josh. Hey there. I think we have Michael. Okay, now, Michael, I still don't know if his last name is Pastor or Pastore. Do you know, Corey?
I've always been calling him Pastor.
Because isn't the actor from The Sopranos Pastore?
I believe
Vinny
it is.
Pastore? I think so. Whatever it is. Thank you for joining me. He has a great new book about his history with Van Halen. I'll be interviewing Michael in the near future. Another one from Josh. No plugs from Josh. I believe Josh is an author in his own right, but hey, what can you do? And Johnny, thank you for that. Now, Corey, Kiss, where are they in your history? And it's fine if it's just I like a couple of songs, or Vinnie Vincent scammed me twice.
You know, I kind of came into Kiss around Hot in the Shade, so I was kind of a later Kiss fan. Revenge is still my favorite Kiss record, but I remember being a kid and going to my aunt's house in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and they had a picture of, like, I think it was the Dynasty cover. We got all the face paint stuff, and you're thinking, wow, that's amazing. But they didn't have any of the records, so I couldn't listen to them. So I kind of got into them late into their career, and then through the Pot of Thunder podcast, I was listening to those boys break down the Kiss catalog track by track, and that's when I discovered even like the bad Kiss songs have some gold in there, whether it be a tremendous lyric or, you know, a great solo or something. There was always something really to kind of latch onto when it came to Kiss. And then I only saw them twice. They came through Saskatchewan twice. Monster Tour, I saw them, and then on the end of the road. Actually, their 12th to last final concert was in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. So I got to see them then too.
Many artists who've done the final, but this is really the final tour. Francis, had you seen Kiss live aside from opening for Kiss?
I haven't. At the time, it was I had opportunities to go over the years, and for some reason, I never pulled the trigger. But my first time seeing Kiss was the first time opening for them in Allentown, Pennsylvania, 2020.
Nice. And we got some clarification from Michael. He said that is his uncle Vinny. No kidding. I had no idea about that. I've interviewed his uncle, Sopranos, great character actor, the Jerky Boys movie character actor, Vincent Pastore or Pastor, we still don't know. Whatever it is, buy Michael's book. That's where we're going on with all that. And then Johnny's adding that he's saying, hey to Francis. He saw you live in Oakland and in Vegas. Loves your drumming. Impressive drum kit. How long does that drum kit that you have on tour, Dave, take to set up, by the way? That looks like that's a 2-hour thing.
You know, that's what I would think too. Again, our perfect drum tech, Mike Greasiak, takes care of that. And, you know, the only reason we can do this is because of him. He can get it up in like 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
20 minutes.
He did the legwork early on during rehearsals, you know, the tinkering, the welding, the sawing, the cutting. And it's down to a science. It's out of the cases, a couple of tweaks, and, you know, put the cymbals on and you're ready to go. And then
so it's continued that the David Lee Roth crew and band, top notch all these years later. That's 100%. The lesson.
Yeah, the best in the business. Those the crew especially, those guys are the best you can find. They're perfect at what they do.
And of course, Kiss helped discover Van Halen, put Van Halen on the map, brings it all full circle with all this. And the lyric that I want to present to you today, it's not what you think it's gonna be, but it is from the song Lick It Up, the makeup free era of Kiss. And it's not the following lyric. It's not, it ain't a crime to be good to yourself, because that is a good lyric to live by. Would we agree on that one? Oh, that's yeah. a uniform thing. That's a little positivity from Paul Stanley, Stanley Eisen himself. It ain't a crime to be good to yourself. But are we ready? Can't talk today. Are we ready for the lyric?
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
You've got to live like you're on vacation. Now, Francis, when I read that to you yet again from the song Lick It Up by Kiss, you got to live like you're on vacation. What are your initial thoughts? Is that good advice or bad advice from Paul Stanley?
It depends on what kind of vacation, but I would say the overall, I would say it's resoundingly good advice. because vacation's a good thing, no matter what it is. Even if you're doing bad things on vacation, you're still, vacating from some other situation or, circumstance. And I think, to me, that says a very cliche thing in a different way, which is you could drop dead tomorrow, so you might as well live it up today.
Okay. Now, Corey, your original or initial thoughts for all that. You got to live like you're on vacation. Good advice or bad advice? Because Francis put up an interesting point. What kind of vacation is it?
Right. And I was kind of waffling back and forth. I'm thinking if I'm a rock and roll legend like Francis Valentino, I can't believe I'm on a call with him, by the way, being such a huge Van Halen, David Lee Roth fan. I'm a little starstruck here. You're absolutely phenomenal. If I'm on the road with like David Lee Roth, you absolutely have to live every day like you're on vacation. But, I'm a TV producer by trade. And I'm thinking in some of my day job things, you can't really live every day like you're on vacation. Sometimes you got to pay the bills and be a little more kind of locked into what you're doing. Ultimately, I'm going to agree. I think it is good advice, but you may not want to go, again, depending on the vacation, you may not want to go 100% all in on vacation. Sometimes you got to actually, focus on the task at hand and maybe take that a little more seriously.
See, I first thought it was a great lyric in terms of good life advice. I now think Francis actually made a point about what kind of vacation is it? Because sometimes your vacations, you have to like visit in-laws that you don't want to say, hey, I love my in-laws. Don't get me wrong right here. I'm not talking about my in-laws, but sometimes your vacation is like a bereavement time off work, or sometimes it's a trip like taking the kids to Disney. Not my kids. I don't have kids. Some vacations are not good.
You want to take my kids to Disney? Is that what you're saying? Because I can arrange that.
I've done enough Disney trips. I don't want to take my imaginary kids to Disney. I've already been to Disney plenty. But where I'm getting at is I think he needs more of a qualifier for what kind of vacation this is. Because if it's a cruise, but you hate cruises because you get seasick, I'm going to say this is bad advice.
Yeah, if you're stuck on the poop cruise, that's not much of a vacation.
Yeah. Francis, you've survived some cruises yourself. Would you say at least 2 rock cruises you've played on?
We did 3. Yeah. We did our third one last year. So almost 2 years ago now, 2024. Yeah, a great time. That's purely a vacation, even for the bands. I mean, that's the kind of thing where there's a cat.
Yeah. That cat's living like it's on vacation.
It is. Right. And it looks like a kiss cat too.
Oh, look at that.
Little Star Child. Yeah.
Yeah. And but yeah, the cruises, even the bands and crews are effectively on vacation and hanging on by a thread most of the time, as far as the party goes and the human interaction with maybe 3,000 people who are stuck on a boat with you. So, yeah, I would do it again. I would do another cruise. But yeah, I would recommend it too.
Okay, so you're not one and done. Some bands have it in their, immediate philosophy of we're not going to do a rock cruise. We'll do corporate gigs, we'll do college gigs, no rock cruises. You're pro rock cruise.
Oh yeah, it's just fun. That's the whole point.
Okay, so you would live like you're on vacation for the most part. Corey, you sound like you're going to live like you're on vacation.
Yeah. It definitely, I would like to, and I should. I'm going to take Paul's advice actually starting tonight.
Okay, so this might have been the easiest lyric to defend as advice, because even if I'm a no on this one, we're 2-on-1 on this one. Man, that's such a letdown. I have to follow up here. Corey, when you vacation, what kind of vacation do you crave?
What do I crave? It's going to see live music, because we don't get a lot here in Saskatchewan. By the way, Francis, if you could get in David Lee Roth's ear and tell him Canadian tour, that'd be awesome, because
I'll do my best.
Right now, crossing the border for me, I'm like, I should go to Moorhead. I know you guys are playing Moorhead, Minnesota. It's only like 8 hours away, but for a Canadian to cross the American border right now, it's a little iffy. But yeah, my vacation's like, it's traveling. I saw Queen and Paul Rogers in Minnesota. A couple years ago, we went to Toronto under the guise of visiting my parents or my wife's parents. Really, I was going to watch Sammy Hagar and the boys do the Best of All Worlds tour in Toronto. So that's my ideal vacation. So if I could live life like it's like a vacation, and I could see bands, like actual real life music, at least a couple times a month, man, I'd die a happy man.
So you do rock and roll road trips?
Yes, sir. Yeah, because nobody plays here.
Got it. I don't think that Francis in his off time does rock and roll road trips personally.
It depends. I mean, it depends again how you classify off time. Like, as far as vacations go, real vacations that are kind of intertwined with work, with Matthew Curry and other bands, we've been lucky to go to Key West for 10 years straight. And we play a place down there called the Hog's Breath Saloon that gives you a week of shows. You play 7 days straight, 7 nights straight. And they basically give you a big house and say, be sober enough to play at showtime. And everything's fine. So that's honestly my favorite kind of vacation, just relaxing, working on music during the day with the band, with the guys, and then just playing it out at night. And then, maybe take a couple of days off and hit the next show, wherever that may be.
Oh, see,
so I chose to rudely interrupt. I chose the wrong lyric for a touring musician to do. You have to live like you're on vacation, because that was a given. You were going to say yes on that one because you hit the road as your gig.
Yeah, which I love too.
Well, we actually got a question from one of the chatters. They said, "What's your cat's name?" Are we going to dox your cat by saying your cat's name?
Of course. That's Chloe the cat.
Chloe the cat. And Johnny Be Good weighed in. He said, thinks it's good advice because the point is to relax and not take everything so seriously. It'll buff out. You're okay. You're doing better than you think. Huh.
I like that.
We also have a chatter, the infamous Chaz, who says that he brought his pencil. Now, I'm hoping that is a Hot for Teacher lyric and not how he goes on vacation. That could be the case.
But Chaz, you never know.
He said that he has to experiment with gin bottles because he got 2 bottles of the cold gin. Did he get the cold gin, the Kiss variety? I don't know. Corey, did you know they made cold gin by Kiss?
Oh, of course. They've made everything Kiss related, right? Like cold gin is just a no-brainer.
And the coffin.
Yes, the coffin, of course.
Yes, indeed. Well, Francis, going back to your whole Kiss thing, do you know how to play Kiss songs?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Just even through osmosis from being at so many shows, I'm sure if I had to get up with somebody and play 10 Kiss songs, I'd be fine. But yeah, I mean, fortunately, there's not much rocket science going on. It's their big, bad rock and roll songs. And that's kind of, something that plays like any other big, bad rock and roll song. So just a matter of making a few adjustments here and there. But I would love to play some Kiss songs.
Okay, follow-up Kiss tour question. Big Kiss fan, but I get scared from pyro noises. How many shows of Kiss did it take for you to remember where the pyro was so you didn't get jolted every time?
I kind of wanted to get jolted, so it took me one night to remember where to go to get jolted. But I guess I can expand on that a little bit from sound checks without giving too much away about the inner workings here. But depending on how the day was going for, load in, the crews load in, sound checks, things like that. Sometimes during our DLR band sound check, and this is just the band and the crew, no David in sound check, but they wouldn't be done testing the fire cannons yet. And so where I was set up on that tour was right in front of Eric Singer's stuff, of course. And there's a lot of fire back there and a lot of smoke machines and stuff. I can't tell you how many times we'd get to a place and I'd be having to do my sound check near the local fire marshal or something like that, who isn't trained in Kiss pyrotechnics. And he had to give the okay of the city to be like, do these fire cannons look good to you, Mr. Fireman? And he'd be like, sure, it looks fine to me. And that's how much I know of the, of the insanity of what they're really doing and bringing to these cities and into these venues. It was awesome. I miss that. I miss being near those explosions.
So you actually crave the jolting. I do not. But now that I think about it, maybe Paul Stanley being on vacation, it's just the opposite of Kiss. So there's no pyro. There's no travel.
No makeup.
No makeup. So maybe his vacations are pretty sweet.
Oh, an acoustic guitar on a beach somewhere, right? Like no noise, just calm.
Okay. So Paul Stanley has won this round about good advice. Do you, Corey, have a favorite Kiss lyric to put you on the spot? Anything that you live by?
Well, one specifically from Revenge. When he had a woman who was, took their sexy conversations and sold them to the BBC. That's just a bad thing to do. You don't want to sell your sexy conversations to the BBC. That, I'm very upset that happened to him. But that's one of my favorite Kiss lyrics. Also, let's put the X in sex. Love's like a muscle, and you make me want to flex. That's genius. That's gold, Jerry. Gold.
Nice Seinfeld.
Oh yeah.
Now, when you hear a lyric like that, and you know that Desmond Child co-wrote that song, do you take the automatic position of going, if it's a cheesy lyric, Desmond Child wrote it?
Oh no, I think Paul wrote that. Dude, to me, that was 100% Paul. Because that is like, I just want to get you. Like, it fits more. Like Desmond Child wrote, stuff for Aerosmith about Bon Jovi and all that kind of stuff too. I attribute that solely to Paul. It's those lyrics I like that are like, it's almost like the movie The Room, where it's so bad it comes all the way around and becomes brilliant.
Tell me what
that are so bad they come all the way around that they're brilliant. The Room is one of my favorite movies. It's wonderful.
I thought that those were the Desmond Child lyrics, because if you take the Rat album that Desmond Child produced and co-wrote with "Lovin' You's a Dirty Job and I'm the Man to Do It," those kinds of lyrics, I hear them and go, that's a Desmond Child lyric. Sure. So I just thought my love's a muscle and makes me want to flex or whatever it is. I just said, that's a Desmond. You think that's a Paul lyric?
To me, it feels like a Paul lyric.
Huh.
I could be wrong.
Okay. Francis, in terms of Kiss lyrics, I'm not putting you on the spot because I don't think that you know Kiss lyrics, and I don't think that you're a lyrics first human being.
It depends. Oh yeah, I mean, this depends on again the situation, but I do have a favorite Kiss moment that might surprise you, or that is technically a lyric, because I think it's funny and interesting, and I don't know who else has ever done this besides one other song. In Hide Your Heart. I don't know of any other band who has mixed all the funny rock and roll things to say into one chorus. Hey, 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 do. I mean, I think that's brilliant just for what it is. They won the chorus of that song with parts from the 50s. So that's kind of fun.
And then they tell the story around it too. It's amazing too.
Oh yeah.
Johnny better run.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You better. Okay, so bring it full circle right here. Good advice to live by, to recap it with all that, with this particular lyric. But Francis, what's the best advice that you ever got as a touring musician? Super putting you on the spot right there.
Oh, that's great. Jeff Kazee from the Asbury Jukes told me, wait till you get home to hate yourself. While you're here, we're paying for your time, so don't fuck it up.
That's awesome.
Yep. And don't drown yourself in making mistakes if in the studio or touring. Let it go by, as in it's live, it's real. Doesn't matter.
Rock and
Do
roll.
your thing and get home and think about it. Don't drag it into the rest of the performance.
Corey, do you know the Jukes? I'm curious about this one.
I thought that weren't they part of the Bon Jovi documentary on Disney Plus? I think he mentioned the Asbury Jukes. So
yep,
I heard of them there.
Yeah, one of my points of curiosity is being a Long Island person. You find so many of the things just come back to Billy Joel, and then and of course the Springsteen has everything comes back to Springsteen in the Jersey Shore or Bon Jovi or Southside Johnny and the Jukes. But out in Saskatchewan, who's your Billy Joel or Bruce Springsteen or your folk hero that you guys talk about as your international export?
Well, Joni Mitchell hails from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. She's a pretty good storyteller.
Yeah.
As for other Saskatchewan artists, well, Burton Cummings lives in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan now. He wasn't born here, but we've kind of claimed him, I guess, because he lives here. Not a lot of big bands came out of Saskatchewan. Kenny Shields from Streetheart. I don't know if that's a band you guys know. He was from here. There's a band called the Northern Pikes that was big in the early 90s. They had a song called She Ain't Pretty that charted in the States. So I think Joni Mitchell's probably the big one.
Was Streetheart, did that evolve into Loverboy?
A member of Streetheart, the guitar player, spun off and formed Loverboy with Mike Reno.
My theory, Loverboy was the most influential band that never gets credit for being influential, because wasn't that the first big Bob Rock credit?
I believe so, yeah.
Without Loverboy, Bob Rock doesn't happen, and then we don't get the Black Album and Dr. Feelgood, for better and for worse. Where would metal be without Loverboy?
Good point.
So where would metal be without Streetheart or Saskatchewan?
There you go.
And we got a question here. Actually, this wasn't the question that I meant to click on. Michael said we have Twisted Sister and Sevi. We could talk about the Stray Cats and Joan Jett. We could Long Island ourselves to death here. But the question: are you guys familiar with Def Dealer from Quebec? I've never heard of Def Dealer.
Nor have I, no.
Check it out.
I think we have to have a Def Dealer extravaganza later on. So wrapping it all up here, because you guys have cracked this case much sooner than I anticipated being able to crack this case about it being great advice. What advice do you have for Paul Stanley, modern day Paul Stanley? I'm going to go to you first, Corey, because you could either go, Kiss is the most successful it's ever been because they have that Avatar show coming, and the Kiss Cruise, which ended 3 years ago but is continuing, and there may be more touring and there may be more music. You can go that way, or you can go stop, or you can go, no, Paul's doing everything right. Where are you at with Kiss right now?
Paul's doing most things right. I'm not a big fan of the Avatars. I bought that pay-per-view, the End of the Road final show, and saw the Avatars. I'm like, you're basically just charging people concert tickets to go see an animated movie. And I don't know if that's really going to fly for you. But you know what? Keep doing the cruises. The Landlocked cruise in Vegas, I hear, was a huge success. Keep doing stuff like that. If you want to put out a new album, do a new album. Like they only said they were really kind of stopping from these massive tours, which I tend to think they're going to do. They may do some one-offs, and that's fine. And that's all great. You know, keep the Kiss name alive. Like, you know, David Lee Roth is out there touring all these great Van Halen tunes. And I wish I could get out there and go support it. I would love to. But, you know, you got to keep playing. You know, you're not dead yet. Go ahead. Play music. Be happy. The Avatars, I'm not too excited about it. If other people are, more power to them. Just keep on keeping on, Paul. You're doing all right.
The lyric that you just accidentally said, you're not dead yet, which is not a lyric, but should be a lyric. Should that have been in Lick It Up? You're not dead yet?
Sure. There's a lot of lyrics you could put in Lick It Up because they don't have a lot.
There's
aside
a lot of
Lick It Up, and it's only right now. It's, you know,
well, there
one
you
of the
go.
weirdest videos of all time too. I remember watching that as a kid, seeing Kiss look like just four of the ugliest human beings on planet Earth walking around without their makeup on. I'm like, well, that's a choice.
And then a different kind of question before I ask you guys to give your plugs and where to best follow you. Francis, what band was your Kiss growing up? In other words, what was the band that was the brand for you that you really, really followed?
Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. There's no way around it. Even if I wanted to pretend it was something else, I can't. It was just, you know, proximity from Jersey, and it was great. And that's like that was like an element that exists in Jersey that is stuck in me that I can't get out, even if I wanted to. So mine.
Vinny Lopez and Max Weinberg?
Oh yeah, they're both great in different ways. I mean, Vinny was you know, the early guy, of course, first two records, and then Max took over, and different creatures, different players, but both very cool. I love Max's playing, especially, you know, straight away, real rock and roll. And his son, not a bad drummer himself. Oh, Jay, he's great. He's unbelievable. He's taken a massive leap from where Max left off with his big band and swing and jazz background, and applied all those same sort of, levels of being incredible to metal, which is an impossible genre to really play, like speed metal and stuff like that. I can't do that. So
I think you can do that.
And it's a whole different beast. It's kind of like it's like driving on the left side of the road in a car that goes way too fast for the first time.
If you could play Hot for Teacher, you could play speed metal.
I'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. Again, that back to the famous quote: if you blow it on stage, just keep on moving. And that would be a great time for that.
So the follow-up to that, you first, Francis. Best way to follow you and support your stuff online, is it the Instagram?
Yeah, I think that's a good landing spot for most things. Just, my name, at my name, Francis Valentino on Instagram. And from there, you'll get everything that I'm doing and everybody I'm working with. And, it's always a little different. So come check it out.
And Corey, the last word here, deep dive. And you, how do we follow it all?
CMPU.ca is my website. You can get all my podcasts there. We have And the Podcast Will Rock. We have Power Positive Geeking, which is my movie show. Darren, you were on that show. We talked about Fletch, which was a fantastic time. You can get all episodes of Rockcord. I did an Aerosmith podcast on there as well. And this was a real treat. First of all, Francis Valentino, a huge fan. Thank you. I still can't believe I'm on a podcast, but that was a wonderful surprise. And Darren, thank you so much for inviting me on. I'm a big fan of yours as well. Love the DLR cast. And anytime you give me the call and say, come on and do a podcast, I'll drop whatever I'm doing and do so, because I'm a huge fan. So thank you very much.
Thank you both. Week 2, episode 2, a better lyric will come. That is not about vacation. But for all of you still watching and still listening, thank you for your time. Please support Francis. Please support Corey. And we'll see you all very soon.
All right.